Week 3 does not have very many opportunities to work with Excel, but there are a few tips that I want to throw in here as you work on this week's homework assignments. This first example I have up here, we did a survey, asked a whole bunch of people how many children they had, whether they had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or more children, and the frequency of response was given. We're going to try and calculate the probability that a random person selected would be one of these categories. Now, in order to calculate probability, we first need to know the total. In Excel, we can calculate the total by hitting equals, SUM for sum, and then selecting the frequencies. And that tells us we surveyed a total of 164 people. Now we can easily calculate a probability by hitting equals, selecting the frequency, divide by, select the total, and hit enter. And notice that this states that a random person has a probability of about 15% to have 0 children. Now, it may be tempting to grab that corner and pull it down, but if we do pull it down, the denominator, the B9 part up here, would also pull down. Since we want that 164, the denominator, to stay the same as I drag the formula down, but we want to change the B2 to B3, B4, B5, B6 as it goes down. To keep the B9 the same, we'll put dollar signs in front of the B9, and those dollar signs tell Excel, as I drag down, I don't want this number to change. I always want to grab the 164. The top number, that one's going to change as we drag down. Notice the dollar signs didn't change the value, but when I click the corner and drag down, I now get the individual probabilities because that B9 stayed the same all the way down and the numerator changed. Now I can see the probability a random person will have 4 children is about 7.3%. At the end of this week's work, we're going to take a look at some counting principles with factorials, permutations, and combinations. And I just wanted to show you real quick as we wrap up how to do those on Excel if you don't have a fancy scientific calculator. So this first example, 12 factorial. To do a factorial, we'll type equals FACT, open a parentheses, and then type the number that we want the factorial for. Close the parentheses, and we've got fact 12. 12 factorial is 479,001,600. For permutations, where the order matters, we type equals perm ut, open a parentheses, start with the total number of items, comma, the number that we're choosing, 3, close the parentheses, and hit enter. There are 720 ways to select 3 items out of 10 where the order matters. Similarly with combinations, we'll type equals COMBIN, open a parentheses, 10 is the number, and 3 is the number we're choosing. Remember, the difference with the combination is the order does not matter. So this should be a smaller number because the order does not matter anymore. And when we hit enter, we see there's 120 ways to select 3 items out of 10 where the order does not matter. Hope these Excel tips are helpful this week. Again, this week was shorter because there's not too many Excel tricks for week 3, but there will be more very important ones coming up in the next few weeks. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.